Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Wednesday. It's time to continue our little catch-up playthrough. Well, Wednesday, the 5th of December, for anyone who's wondering. We're going to continue this. We are still on the Return of the Departed Soul. We just, in fact, this background here is exactly where we left off. This exact location. We haven't even examined. We haven't done nothing. Before continuing, though, I'm changing costumes back to our usual stuff. For the time being. Alright, that's all set. Let's get back to, like we just made investigation time. Alright. First thing I noticed is there was a bow. A quiver. It's a European style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside. Oh! Do you suppose crossbow bolts, those? And just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds. In other words... Yep, that's more evidence to support your theory. That all goes to show that Deborah was the one pulling the strings behind the scene of the whole scam. Nice. You just turned up some new evidence. Alright, this door doesn't want to open. Yeah, this has got a pretty hefty lock on it. There's a specialized locksmith on his way over from the ark. So hands up till he gets here. With permission, Inspector, I can have the lock to open in less than a minute. Well, you don't have to. Well, you don't have permission, and no one's giving it to you. For sure. Grayson looks as though he really enjoyed that. Well, there's no sign of anybody on the other side. No, Deborah must have fled the scene at the first sign of danger. This trophy! Ah! This appears to be a most interesting... Yes, most interesting indeed. Won't you say? It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. I have no doubt if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away. It's a Royal Social Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah! Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine, thank you. No idea it was such a grand thing. I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's so much more to Mr. Streber than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, madame. How about you, Mr. Naruto? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired soldiers, of course. He's not gonna let that go, is he? It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not possibly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. Oh, we got the trophy in our court records. So silent for more details. Oh. There's no one to play here. Look. Fostering Burgundian talent for the most future scientific discoveries. Seems rather ironic, doesn't it? Play Mr. Deborah was a really very talented scientist. There must be something about this that's going to flip this case over. What on earth is this? An aeroplane, Mr. Naruto. One day, scientists believe that it will allow humans to fly freely in the sky. Is that how the trick we described? Is it? Oh. Sorry? Well, it's accurately suspended by a very strong cable, isn't it? Oh, well, the model is, yes, but a real airplane would actually fly high in the sky. While suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in mirrors unsupported. So to you, the solution is ever taller towers. Oh. Einstein was not our hero. This machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There will be serious repercussions if you're able to examine and the crown and the government. Oh, from the crown and the government. Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow outside. No working parts of the fight instead of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No list changed out on the floor or nothing. Down a boat for Toby here, my dear fellow. British people are very much ruled by their own ideas, aren't they? I think that's just these two, Miss Susano. Oh? Is something wrong, Miss Susano? Well, I thought I heard noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina? Did you hear too? Yeah, I heard it all. What would you reckon, Toby? Right, mind the grease! Whoever's in there, open up! This is Scotland Yard. Oh my, someone is in there! Arr, this rotten bleeding lock! And they race in, as I said only minutes ago. If only it were instance, I can unlock the door in less than a minute. Fine. I'll take the rat for it. Just get this through the plastic door. Oh, he's done already. There! You may enter at will. You confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time is the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Nothing for, I suppose. This is an emergency. There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellows. Yes! Why is there a bomb in the middle of the room? What happened in here? Why is everything upside down? Rats! There ain't no one there at all. There must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises. Maybe that was a sign of Deborah running away. But there's only one door in this room, into this room. And the windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. What's that up there? Are those footprints? On the ceiling? Blow me! What do we have here then? Looks like someone's trying to burn something in a hurry. Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints. What? To that Professor Herbrand's blimey machines, isn't it? Blimey! We had those! There had been no need to muck up by trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There's something of great interest here too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's the make about that? Never mind. You see, but you don't serve, Miss Arho. You must investigate the entire room thoroughly. On before the forensic investigation team arrives too. We found something. No. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. I've never seen anything like this before. Looks like a bundle of fixed cigars wrapped up in Oh. Cigars wrapped in a large watch to me, but what's that? That's a surely that's a time bomb, is it? One? Did you say a time bomb? Sorry, but what's a time bomb exactly? Eh? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. You know nothing, do you, Odo? You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gino? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. This particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh. No, thank goodness, but then what is it? I see. That's it. Goodness, Mr. Sholmes. Have you seen to the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair. Were I fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mr. Sano. Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. First, is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Jabber himself. Oh, how could you? The second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is without question completely genuine. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civil duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. He's gonna... Well, Inspector Grissom seems delighted with the idea anyway. Oh, you deflected the Inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done! You're too kind, them. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you! Can you stand there, Mr. Sano? Oh, yes. I'll be delighted. So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacle. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Flipped furniture. It's plain to see that the room is in complete disarray. The bed, the tables, the chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in this room had, until recently, been heavily positioned on the ceiling, or falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pulls of the earth. But the gravity in this room was at first, and suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I can understand your skepticism, Mr. Sano. I too was incurious at first. However, my conviction and my analysis was cemented when I served this! An anti-gravity device! Almost identical to the one that features in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact. But then why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. That's the time device that controls the gravity device when switched. There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore gravity. To restore normal gravity automatically. Then the commotion we heard from earlier on your side of the door was the moment the restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. You see, we need to look no further to explain the status of which we find this room now. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Devitt. Before returning to the anomaly in its automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely the scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Because gravity was reversed? Number 2. Missing engineer. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer's friend's aim? Indubitably, the risk we have to explain this actions is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible that those prints all the way up there in the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us to nearly to the truth, my dear madame. The reason for those prints in the ceiling is because of a nearby skylight. Of course, Deborah's aim was singular to escape. However, there's a one way into this room, except the skylight, that is. Ah. By inverting the gravity in here, Deborah was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling. And make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible sky, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. The gravity reverses is sudden. Wouldn't Mr. Deborah have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is both scientific and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was caught with no run. To escape from the skylight was his only option. You recall this I found in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, a better tool than this rope. By anchoring to one end of the wall, a man was able to lower himself to the safely to the ceiling. Just plain time, Mr. Deborah was able to escape his room before our arrival. Your first pull the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. Escape via the skylight. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the topsy-turvy puzzle. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there's just one thing that troubles me. I expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is, Is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean? I was saying that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinetics. But your whole deduction hinges on it. Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. However improbable it may seem. It's a marvelous line! Would you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had ours come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I read it somewhere in that. Mr. Sandro left me once. And something that Mr. Sandro left me once. Objection! Objection! Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Shrooms. Ah, a spell broken and lost. The rope you found on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was! The lonely corner near the wall. But if Mr. Dower had used it to escape the way you describe, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? Mysteries and finally unravel it in the end. I think you'll find the ropes. As evidence of such, you only look at the mystery we face in this room. Now, skillfully unraveled. That argument is as circular as the coil in the ropes. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Jones the usual little helping hand. I'm sure we'll some minor corrections. The great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. You must do it quickly before Roast Deborah gets too far away. If you're ready, then let us resume! Such a raising spectacle! Course correction, hold it, Mr. Sholmes! I pick one flip and a jerk because gravity was the first. It's been seen that this room is completely disarrayed. The bed, the tables, and the chair, the lamp, everything is upside down! It feels almost as everything in this room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in this room was on the ceiling. Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here is gravity. It appeared that technology has lost the city of bringing us from the grip poles of the earth. Oh, the gravity in this room was suddenly reversed and then suddenly restored to normality. I think it's something a stamp will do. Doesn't even have the goodness. The entire furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played on this whole business. I think gravity would have been reversed in this very room. I had no idea, utterly enthralling. Again, Stans could do that. One of his rooms could conceive such an explanation. The man himself admitted that it was scientifically impossible, so... possibility, so... Here's your argument was completely dismissed the idea at once. Ooh! That's unusually merciless of you, Mr. Sano. When you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains to be the truth. The great detective said so, didn't he? While refusing to part with his dream of anti-gravity device. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's examine the topsy-turvy scene a little more closely. There are some points that shows exactly what what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Well, I was expecting to see a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure. Ah, look at that! I know. The center of his looks like it's about to topple up any moment. The flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of it. The fragility of life, wouldn't you say? To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deeper impression to me. Oh, manage here, there's completely conspicuously upside down, certainly. Yes, it does immediately put you man some sort of quirk of gravity, I admit. Ah! Could it be mini whirlwind pass through here? Do you think? I'm not sure that's much more possible than Mr. Jones' explanation. Oh dear, saying that the first thing that comes to your head isn't the way forward here, it seems. Oh, look, Mrs. Zillow. Everything else seems to be upside down here. The safe is conspicuous the right way up. Have you noticed? Yes, that's true. Look more closely at the safe's feet. Ah, it's lovely. Very large bolts fixing it to the floor. Think before you speak. Is that what you want to say, isn't it? I really put my mouth here there. I certainly didn't say that. I've got two choices here.
Take that!
It puts the face! The upright face clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Miss Naruhodo, you surpassed yourself. You surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one's trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Jones. Trust me. As you already said, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room's upside down, this unamusing, slender face is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there's nothing fixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, it's as much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all! My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. But the show must go on! So, let's continue with our deduction. Oh, he recovered fast. Now we know that this contraption is not, in fact, an anti-gravity device. There remains but one other possibility. You don't say. Someone literally turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Right, and naturally, there's an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything here is turned upside down is because the anti-gravity device. He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of assigning scientific explanations is too strong. Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all this furniture over. So whoever it is must have had a reason. I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all. Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. We've already established that the gravity isn't actually reversing here, too. How about? In other words, this isn't an anti-gravity device at all. Just be curious to know what sort of device it is. I think for now it's clear that we're looking for an answer elsewhere. Look! There's something written on the other side of this armchair. Yes, safe 432582. Safe? As in safe and secure? As in secured lockable box, I think. Mainly more likely. Well, there's a large safe bolted on to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes. Do you mean this number will let us open it? I wonder why it's written here, though.
Take that!
Yes, the reason why everything started another thing is because of the safe combination. Precisely, I believe, Miss Naruto. Did you have a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year. When I bought a lottery ticket, I noted the tickets numbers down on the inside cover of a book just in case. That's it! For people are forgetful souls at heart and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. And what, pray, happened next, Mr. Naruto? On the day when the draw came round, I forgot which book I had written the numbers in and had to turn my room upside down to find it. That's it! For people are forgetful souls of heart and always forget what they've noted things down. If you not always note things in the same place. Sorry, if you always note things in the same place. I actually won second prize, you know. I couldn't remember which magazine I slipped into, so I turned my room outside. I keep missing another Naruto. But I believe I've proved my point now. Which is just that a similar scenario how clearly unfolded in this room. And himself required access to the safe. The occupant of this room needed this combination lock. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture. I forgot which one. Leading to the state in which we now find this room. Yes, Mr. Deborah overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. To find the safe combination. Solved. Now let's consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer's friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, but how's that possible that there are footprints all the way up there in the ceiling? A question which answers will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madame. The reason for those footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Well, if a change in direction of gravity can't explain it, then how do those footprints get up there? Yes, it feels that particular mystery has just become ever harder to solve. I can't think of another way to explain it at all. Ooh, life is so much simpler in those Helicon days where gravity could be reversed. Just minutes ago, and those Helicon days never existed in the first place. But I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail. Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what got us into this situation in the first place. It's got a spleen, isn't it? It's tiny, but it does seem to be a real bling. Yes, I think you're right. I think it's healing that keeps it up. A gringa spleen. Why does that seem to ring a bell with me? If you can see, these are footprints on spleen too. Look. Well, yes. Surely that's a clue, isn't it? But though what it tells us, I'm not sure. It's the only thing we got Oh, there's a shoe! It's hard to believe, bud. There's a shoe up there! Look! Oh, yes. There are more footprints on this little balloon, too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there to become large, don't you think? So, then judging from the number of footprints, this must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up in the ceiling, though? Oh dear. That's beyond me, I'm afraid.
Take that!
Ah! The reason those footprints are ceiling is because of a nearby shoe! And on closer inspection, there are clear footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the sky at all, but the balloon! But for what purpose? A green balloon? That seems somewhat familiar data. Ah! It was the green piece. It was a piece of a green balloon envelope that Miss Aaron Iris found at the scene. Inside the green balloon was Master God's and inside the green balloon, that Master God claims he saw about the stage when the incident occurred. That was the second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinetics description. Oh, it's deception, sorry. You mean to say, if he'd assumed the balloon in here was the model of the one used on the day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it. Something our scholar was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely the shoe. Ah! Most probably, Deborah intended to tear a hole in the envelope by assailing it with a shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted by when the shoe itself became the prisoner of those lofty heights. Oh dear. We desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there was some way we could get inside. You may recall I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers the solution. Oh, the rope! Reaching the intended destination, what better way than this rope? Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope. Alright, I have to admit, that was clever. So we just throw the rope up to the balloon and then pull it down, just on the ground. Which is much easier said than done, I feel. Which could take us a very long time as well. Sure, perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we?
Take that!
To reach the intended decision, what better tool than this crossbow? It's designed in the scene, in fact. And in all likelihoods belonged to Mr. Dever. The man had only brought away with him that day. He could have avoided losing his shoes at a critical time like this. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is that Mr. Coach Dever has hiding inside this balloon? It's a head! Oh, well, what the? A wax wart? Indeed it is! A waxwort head inside a metal mask. A mask that was tightly shut and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock. You can't see the face inside, which I mean... Just a moment, this is the head of the waxwork model? Waxman? Does that mean... Oh, goodness. I see you've joined the dots, Mr. Sano. Excellent. Oh, of course, the headless Waxwork model. It's the abducted Madame Tuspel's model that you largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was missing. That was still missing. Indeed it was. Well, I believe Madame Tuspel will now have to settle her settlable account with me. This, as you now have summarized, is the head of the infamous Professor. Yes. But why is it here? This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the Professor from Madame Tuspel and returning it to Saint-Trel earlier today was none other than Eric Deber. This is incredible. Professor Herbert's case and the Waxwork abduction are... They're inextricably linked by Eric Deber's workshop. Well, it appears our logical cruise has come to an end, my fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak the architect of this adventure. The architect? You mean Mr. Deber? It seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously, the man must still be here in this room. What? And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction. The direction's right here, somewhere in this room. Mr. Naruto, would you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Deber's hiding place must be...
Take that!
Before we get access to this back room, we heard noises from in here. Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time. He was in fact searching for the combination to a safe. And Professor Tai made no attempts to right the furniture he overturned in the process. From which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Roach Deber is at this very moment inside the safe. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. Inside the safe. Solved. Deduction complete. Elementary! So, Mr. Naruto, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide and seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see. How much was 432582? I do not. Alright then, here goes. You found me. Assuming you do that scene with a thriller replay in the background, that'd be hilarious. Maybe. Right then, Mr. Rock's trip, I presume? Correct. Better start talking, you trick professor. Her brain with the bogus machine you built. And you shall Have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Animal's Tales to Spell Swell. Whilst I'd be delighted to answer your many questions, personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel for us. Deactivate your parcel? I refer to, of course, to the time bomb. I left in the most prominent position. Ah! Haha, I see. Stunned silence. You all geared up to die with me then. No! Mr. Sholmes! Only seconds left to spare. 7 seconds left to spare. That was too close for comfort. I got one foot in the grave already. Are you trying to get us killed or get... Oh, you're trying to help us get the killer or get us killed? Mr. Sholmes' seduction can be completely life-altering, can't they? Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to this anti-gravity device is quite startling, I must say. Anti-gravity devices don't exist! Whew. I wouldn't push you, Mr. Sholmes. You might surprise you to learn that I'm actually a lawyer from the Empire of Japan. I detest lawyers. They wield so-called special powers in an attempt to grind down our freedom. Oh. Yes, let me be quite clear. I detest lawyers very much. Any chance to navigate makes a positive? Okay, Mr. Jabber, please look at this. Do you, have anything to say about it? Are those strange mechanical movements supposed to be some sort of answer? Okay. Oh, it's the same thing. Nope. Oh, it doesn't need help that this is supposed. Oh. I don't think we can... What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? Don't need to screw me down any further. Everything in here, is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we'll be given a thorough going over. Don't you worry, Mrs. Ever. What fails to click with me is how you're able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh. For some reason, I woke in fine fidelity. No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Clearly, I must have a screw loose though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And the normal loose, for I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. You also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I hoped to exit for the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So then I set about searching for the combination lock to open the safe. I'm burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon amongst the rafters. And after that, you hit yourself inside the safe? Having first at this partial ticking? Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. Got a death wish, have ya? Hiding right beside the ticking time bomb. Please. Why do you suppose I choose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe, especially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. So in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. But once you climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be locked from within. Ah, so it is. And always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw my plans. Do you mean to say you're planning to blow us all up? No. That was unforeseen. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb with their feet. Ah. I calculated the time required to retreat to the safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless occur have threw a spanner in the works. Is something wrong, Grayson? Do I have something on my face besides usual eyes, nose, ears, and mouth? I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what about the two incidents you evidently been involved in recently? Professor Herbrand's instantaneous kinetics experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which the head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the Professor. Clad in the mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as a protection. Oh. That's enough! What's going on here, Grayson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction on to the investigation here. Yes, well... Mr. Seth again. So the forensic investigation team are here. And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Where you learn this lawyer access to? If Lawrence Sharkard knew about this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. My dear madame, there's no need for such a threat, Tuna, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an acquaintance, is it, Dr. Chief? Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Siv? If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you're quite misguided. In reality, nothing more than a shell. You get out! But of course, we'll show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Isn't that our hurdle? Yes? It would appear that our delightful, entertaining investigation has run its course for the day. But Mr. Sholmes, let us leave this place to the doctor's capable hands. I said get out! Now! All of you! Your presence here is not required either, Grayson. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place. And the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here, but this lot was disarmed. Inspector! Whew, whew. Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Deborah? Ah, so sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes, you did disarm that one. What are you? Nothing? Yeah, you mean... Cool. When did he? It was an hour later that we heard the news. An enormous explosion that ripped through the experimental stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Herbrand's invention and all of his secrets blown away forever. Wow. Trial time, though. Yep. 24th of October, 9:11 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Good morning to you, Miss Naruhodo. Ah, good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? I hope so. I should be. Even I would not be left to... Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Shones, you're here! Why, naturally, a true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times. Thank you, I really appreciate it. I'll see you later then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today. Yes, you try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again. Yes, I will. I realized it was a mistake. But my dear fellows, I must interject. Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes. What's the matter? Sure, you've overlooked some praise, have you not? Cast in my direction, Sorry, I don't follow. Must I spell it out? I, the great Sherlock Holmes, the great detective of worldwide acclamation. Arouse at some ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning. Very good. You must agree. Well, if I must agree, then... As you know, my sleep's quite impenetrable. Ours had to employ our full gamut of tactics. He pulled the cover off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched and kicked me in from the bed. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred. Oh my. Ours has been busy. Ours doesn't have the energy to go that far. She's too nice. I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist. One who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea. I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris! This is my victory! Sorry to cut in. Inspector Grayson! Morning. Grayson, my dear fellow. Why the grim expression at this delightful early hour? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, eh? Hear me, are you going to take that insult line down, Professor? What? I don't know! Poor professor. Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for. What paperwork? Ah, I took delivery of a request in it yesterday. I have a feeling they may prove useful. You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of the archives. Oh, here we go. Suck does seem far strong, doesn't it? There's having no way you can remove the mask yourself if you put it on you. But how a way to treat somebody, even a convicted criminal. I know, it started to make me livid actually. Mr. Naharu, please. I mean, just thinking about it. Think about it. Imagine you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless. Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants so much anger. Oh, right. Sorry. It's the professor's auto-spy report. That? That mass murderers? Who killed 5 members of the aristocrat. He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done on the wraps. And he was quickly executed soon after trial. It's all in here. Alright, let's take a look at that. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector. Okay, let's see. Condemned criminal. Redacted for confidentiality. Pseudonym the professor. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight 17th of June. Courtney Stevens. That's all we got? Yes, much obliged, Grayson. Us slowly out of the yard are just doing what we can. In the shadows of the great detective Sholmes, of course. Oh, the Professor Herbrand. This is it. Today we're gonna lay all this to rest. I lost. I wish you the best of luck, Professor. I suppose he'll be in there today, will he? Ever? Yes. We expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness. I'm so amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much. Kato, I'm the defendant! Charles about to resume. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. Alright then, the final chapter. Funny. My heart is racing a little. I've not felt this before, actually. It's strange foreboding. As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth. (24th of October, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey's courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Herbrand, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and the defendant ready to proceed? The prosecution is ready, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. As promised, Lord Fan seeks his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss. If I may, Lord Fan 6. Yes, my lord. There appears to be someone standing at your side. Ah, yes. My apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes that their procedures will see this case rise considerably. Woohoo! I therefore instructed my attendants to assist to ensure the smooth running of the trial. And the smooth running of liquid refreshments, by the looks of it. The way he holds himself, the way he moves. Could be anyone else. But he's still suffering from amnesia. So there's really nothing we can do at the moment. I know, but oh, this is so very hard. It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands the court made yesterday. I understand you successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question. Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly. Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to be represented the will of the people in this courtroom today. Are you ready and willing to proceed? Boss, my lord. I'm sure we understand the importance of doing our civil duty. I do despise deception in the streets. I find it so very wearing. To take a man's life with a conjuring trick is against the magician's code, not to mention the law. Any fixed hands should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me. We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence, and is that one? That's it, isn't it? Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all. Well, Padre, I proceed. You may begin, Lord Fan 6. Before I do, my lord, there's a report I must read to the court. Yesterday, at the Great Exhibition grounds, the evidence of our importance in this case, the super high voltage instantaneous kinetics machine, which was installed on the experimental stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons. Was what? Explosion! This is an outrage! Yes, I heard that this great news yesterday. Yar submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithereens, and the wreckage reduced to ash in the flames. We have here a photographic print of the scene taken in the wake of the explosion. Shows what little remains of the machine. Yes, a terrible business. He did it to destroy the evidence, did he? Anarch Streber. The court would take his print as evidence, Kentil. There's an odd. Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Division for Scientific Equipments Act was revoked. However, before further investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. And this will become a very different... As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinetics machine will remain forever in obscurity. Indeed. A most unfortunate state of affairs. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that, we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and was ultimately caused its loss of control.
Objection.
As Lord Fan 6 rightfully said, this is a very different trial now. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the evidence that transpired. He acknowledged that Mr. Osmond died as a result of the accident caused by his machine malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters. The Ames Council, if you please. Is here Mr. Rose Trevor and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Osmond. So what exactly were those two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivalent innocence of the defendant. Thank you, counsels. The position of the prosecutions and defense has been clearly stated. Lord Fan 6, summon your first witness, please. At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Roach-Steber, to the stand. State your name and occupation for the court. Name Roach-Steber. Occupation? Hard to pin down, I would say. See the black monocle? Yes, what if it is so I've seen it somewhere before? Oh, you too? Had the same feeling myself. Your file indicates that you're currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business. That has no bearing in this trial, I assure you. Clear it from your mind. Cleave it from your mind. You're all familiar with the public experiments carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago. The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinetics demonstration. Yes, you can say that. I was aware of it. There was a terrible accident, was there? It was you, Mr. Deber, who constructed the fast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement? Yes, I constructed it. In precise accordance with the blueprints. But that's all. Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine. I'm sure. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinetics a reality at last. What? Good gracious! Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir? Yes, that is very much my belief. Who's your wrist that it blew up?
Objection.
Oh, we've already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate contour trick.
Objection.
You've established nothing of the sort. All that was shown yesterday, during yesterday's proceedings, is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defendant merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility. Nothing more. But We have procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness! You mean I gave your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition. Understood. I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago, through Mr. Osmond's introductions. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. The whole show was a fraud. It would require a body double. Tell me, did the victim happen to win? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads, then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow. A body double? That goes without saying, surely. You get the impression that something had moved when in reality it hasn't. It's a basic conjure principle. Though deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But I'd be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines. Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Osmond had no twin siblings. It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. Ah. But such talents do not indicate that he is actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construct of what, by all accounts, must have been an extremely complex scientific machine. Whatever do you mean? Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Debber. Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to allocate government grant money for conjurers no high. Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic on the field. In the field, investigation of the witness workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for the young talent in science there. Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves. If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into physical manifestation with sufficient skill. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deception wells to sniveling the scientists in the past, would you therefore assess that the explosion of the machine was an unfortunate accident? Or, of course, a thorough act of murder carried out by misuse of the science? And so for the defense, cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. Okay.
Hold it!
Okay. So you're already acquainted with Mr. Austin himself? Not really. By chance. I've seen his name mentioned in the papers, that's all. But I have no interest in his private affair. If he was an unscrupulous investor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I'll take up my tools and construct what they ask for. So why did Mr. Osmond approach you in particular then? You can say. I presume because my name was associated with excellence in engineering. Not to mention excellence in fraud. Hard to gauge, but the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given. Oh, right, sorry. In other words, the Connect machine was built on solid scientific principles. Yes, you might say that. Professor Herbert certainly had a mind like no other.
Hold it!
It's clear that you both have scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however. Well, you have. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along. But your implication is that I fabricated the machine with some trickery, I think. It is possible that we have to. It is a possibility we have to explore. Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there? It appears that the Connect machine was fitted with a timed explosive device of some kind. And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remains, I hear. He must have planned this all from the outset. But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment could have been a trick.
Hold it!
Of course, that's it. Mr. Osmond was a twin.
Objection!
Perhaps my learned friend wasn't an area. Mr. Osmond had no twin siblings. No, I heard you before. But the thread of hope hasn't quite left me. The demonstration could have been a trick. If there was somebody who looked significantly like the victim. But Dr. Sheeves actually ruled out that possibility. It is beyond the question that the victim himself, Mr. Osmond, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. The fingerprints found at the scene attested the fact. So, it kind of been an orchard using someone who looked identical to Mr. Osmond then. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, no. Nothing. Just that the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing in my mind.
Hold it!
It crashed headfirst, you say? According to the many witness reports in the sir at the times, yes. At the time, yes. Were you not there at the exhibition grounds on the day? Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop. Yet another one of your unique inventions was found at the scene. Well, it was the unveiling of the machine I labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes. The birdcage plummeted headfirst into the tower. No surprise. I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, was it? I should have come by that information. Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspaper, you know. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body. Yes. He's been stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver which belonged to the defendant. And he had a broken vertebrae as a result of a fall from a considerable height. Correct. My learned friend has been doing his research, it seems. Do you know which injury was the fatal one? Sadly not. Forensic science is not yet at the level where such things can be determined. What we do know is that the victim had sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment. And since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken, it's obvious that he fell from a considerable height. I suppose that's hard to deny.
Hold it!
Do you understand the signs? Do you? Did you? Not the same. Sliss. Oh, right. As I said a number of times, I'm an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given. I would be fighting for problems if I were foolish, allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them. Okay. I could be accused of stealing his ideas, for example. But how is it possible to construct a machine without really understanding the principles it relies on? Well, you're practicing law without really understanding the principles it relies on, aren't you? Very good point. Stand up for yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. The point is, the experiment resulted in instantaneous connects taking place. As such, the science must be sound. Yes, and really, experimental results are all that matters when it comes to providing the hypothesis. He's certainly sure of himself. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Alright. Well, now that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosions, it's going to be impossible to argue that authentically one way or the other. It's authentically. But if we are unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than genuine science, we'll have no grounds which to demonstrate Professor Herbrand's innocence. Professor Aspen and his man in stand tricked the professor and used him. They took advantage of his naivety and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. Seeing as the professor is an old friend of Lord Zeke's, what on earth must he be feeling towards Deborah? I think I know what to do.
Objection!
Nope. Well, that was a good first shot anyway.
Objection!
Okay, maybe.
Objection!
Okay, nope. Okay. Alright.
Objection.
I found it!
Objection.
We examined the bird cage that crashed into the crystal ourselves. As you see, the cage, which is a wooden construct, has sustained damage on one particular spot. Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the crystal tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely. I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of the damage. Oh, the breakage in the woods are at the base of the breakage, not the top. What are you saying? That's the opposite of the word they should be. That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at the base. We have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower. Yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way that we can reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two birdcages in play that day, which at some point were switched during which isn't a scientific experiment at all. The elaborate piece of stage trickery. Gracious, explain yourself, witness. Well, if we examine the facts, there is only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that a crash tail first into the tower.
Objection.
One witness reports that the claims it fell head first. The birdcage materialized into the sky next to the balloon flying over the stage, following a spontaneous explosion at an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level, which is approximately 18 meters. It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the assumed deflagration. Witnesses report amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
Objection.
The victim's neck was broken.
Objection.
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed. Cool. A riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there. Though, to be even more rigorous, you would have said that there was only one vertebrae, actually. He wasn't quite long. I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Van Seeks. This witness is clearly a swindler. I'm one who deceived a personal friend of his. If you're going to establish this deception, do it right. Sorry? I feel doubt was the undertone here. Ah, yes. There's one more point of the defense appears to have forgotten. It's obvious it was a trick, as a certain truth was plainly demonstrated. One. It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Dabber, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth. Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically, after all. Ugh! Near hand there. The kinetics clearly took place because there's nowhere else 30 feet high above the barricades to fall into.
Hold it!
What do you mean? Well, before the demonstration began, the victim was alive on the stage in front of the audience. Yes, there are lots of witnesses who saw Mr. Osmond on the experimental stage, that's true. And the victim's neck broken as a result of an impact following the fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere. The balloons that exploded was at an altitude of 60 feet. The point of impact on the tower was 30 feet up. The difference of 30 feet is therefore the total distance the barricade fell. There's no other location from which the cage could have fallen that distance if it hadn't dropped down from the sky, dropped out of the sky. Ergo, the victim himself must have been beamed into the sky from above the crystal, above the crystal tower. A trenchant scientific analysis. Dear me, every time I hear it explained, it sounds incredibly plausible. Oh yes, it's all very well thought out. Certainly all the spectators they saw it. Barricades plumbing 30 feet in the air, I mean, irrefutably, yes. Okay.
Objection! Objection!
Um. Okay.
Objection!
Well, okay. Let's just restart then.
Objection!
Okay. This is a diagram of the experimental stage and its surroundings. We know that somehow the barricades appeared mid-air before falling down into the crystal tower. I fall from about 30 feet, or 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from the barricade could have fallen from, in the same distance of 30 feet. No. Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, Consul. Yes, my lord. Of course. You would indicate the place for your reference into the same diagram. Okay.
Take that! Objection!
Okay. Clear that's just personally. Oh.
Take that!
Place I'm referring to is here. But that's where the birdcage would have begun with. Which is the exact point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage. We may also consider the height of the stage itself. Go on, Council. It turns out that the experimental stage was built at a considerably height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see that it's about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site. The experiment got underway. The machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. At that moment, the floor and the stage gave way, and if we assume that there would be a void beneath, the birdcage and the one team by the audience would have almost fallen at the exactly same distance. Once again, my lord, this all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
Objection!
My learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design. Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the Connect machine itself. It's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic prints of the scene following such explosion. Lord, the metal grid that formed the floor of the machine is undone! Yes, most likely blown up by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately. Mr. Dabber? It was you who built the Connect machine, which means that it was you who built the two bird cages that were used to carry out this deception. Oh, that Professor Herbrand's hypothesis is sound or makes no difference. Because it's the construction of the machine that matters. The machine is planning to take Mr. Osmond's life. And lay the blame firmly at the professor's door. Something that can only be carried out by you, Mr. Eric Streber.
Objection!
If my loyal friend has reached the end of his wild assertion, the prosecution would like to crush the defense's argument slowly but surely. What? Your argument fails to hold water on 2 counts. 2? Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the Connect machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibit has attested to that. I believe members of Scotland Yard had also been on watch at every public exhibition. In other words, Mr. Dever had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Objection.
But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to. The nonsense with the crossbow, that doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigation team report is unequivocally equivocal to this point on that point. Oh! And the second flaw in your assertion is the distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so. A motive? Do I have to think of everything myself? I have here a contract provided by the defendant, by the witness. What contract is this, Lord Fanseeks? The contract in which Mr. Deber entered with the victim, Mr. Asman, it reads, Mr. Deber is to receive 30% of all remunerations from government, grants or other income, or reimbursements. 30%? Certainly a very favorable contractual conditions. But there was one important provision bolted into that clause. What provision? Mr. Dever may only uphold this right on the condition that both contracting partners are alive. In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. As you see, I have nothing gained from Mr. Aslan's death. The diameter opposite, in fact. The diametric opposite, in fact. Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Dever having done as you suggest is nil. Oh! It seems the defense assertions was somewhat wide of the mark. But if I'm sick, you will submit the contract as evidence, please. It's true. If Mr. Dreyer had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it. In any case, I have no idea what his motives might have been. There is one aspect in your argument that's still so true, however. But there were 2 birdcages. The prosecution is unable to deny that. So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo. I have no doubt there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniably true, too. Well, Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoindance to offer. Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defied. But the prosecution commander has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection.
At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only one birdcage. Yet now we know there must have been two. In other words, there's more to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit. Get to the point! The stage demonstration was constructed and set up entirely by you, Mr. Dever. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired. So, as circumstances means it's possible that you could have carried out the crime yourself. It points to the fact that someone else was involved. Someone else, Counsel? Or are you suggesting... Yes, my lord. Mr. Dever had an accomplice.
Objection.
An accomplice now? Well then, I presume. You are prepared for what's to come. Okay. Now you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious crimes. If these accusations turn out to be false, then make no mistake. Prosecution will deem an equally serious punishment for your slander. Well, Counsel, you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter? I do here. This moment is a little more than a hunch on my part. I'm not for sure Mr. Dever had an accomplice, or that he's really the culprit here. One way or another, though, to make the decision clear, it's a lawyer. What's that going to be? Dever have an accomplice, or not? As much as I want to double check this. My givens. Actually, let's back down and see what happens. Let's face it, I had no idea who his accomplice might actually have been. Which is the strongest position to be in. Naruhodo. Look at the sword at your side. Kurama's crying out. Sorry? Crying out for you. Show the strength of your conviction now as a lawyer. Oh. Mrs. Sword heard it, which involves my best friend. My own accomplice. I'm not sure that's quite right words, but that's the spirit, certainly. The defense is right to name Mr. Dever's accomplice. Somehow two birches must have been switched. Three points to that. Yet according to the coroner's report, it's not a possibility. But that inconsistency itself is a clue. So? My lord? You have received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must ask you to name and identify this alleged accomplice by name. So your answer, please. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Dever's accomplice? In fact, actually, now that I think about it, there is only one.
Take that!
The name of that person in question is... What's wrong, my Japanese friend? Surely fear doesn't bind your tongue. Nah, it's a little late for that. I'm afraid. Bro, naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves. Very well turned every single person in this courtroom against me. I'm sure it'll be alright, Mr. Naruto. Thank you, Mr. Sano. The enemies always appear larger than life. But you appear exactly seen to the enemy. Alright then, here goes. You've kept us waiting long enough. Ansel, cancel, now. The person who colluded with Mr. Jabber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Sivif. What? What place you told me? Dr. Sivif? The head of the forensic investigations team? And the coroner who conducted the autopsy of the victim? We know that there were 2 bird cages. So who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators. And the area was immediately sealed off. And everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensic investigation team. Who else could have... Where else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been men in that team's presence. It's essential that the court determine exactly what happened following that incident. The defense defends that Dr. Sif be summoned to the witness stand at once to testify. You got a nerve, lad. Standing up there, dragging the yard's name from the mud. I didn't mean to. I know the woman very well. There's no better dead worker out there. How dare you call her a criminal? My little friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the east end at night. But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another grave problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once. A grave problem? Oh my word! Oh my word! Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger? What? Certainly. If the birdcage contained the body of the victim was exchanged for another, the cage must have contained the body. And yet, no missing person or accidental death of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported. Which means there was no one dead or alive who could have fulfilled the role of the body double for Mr. Asman. That's true. My argument is that there were 2 bird cages, and there must have been, there must also have been 1 person inside each. I don't know if I got an answer to this yet. Huh? I need to reveal the bodies. I'm gonna risk this one. This might be it, but I'm... Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Osman's body double. Precious evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering, Kensel. The court is suspecting a name. You think you have relevant evidence presented? No. Body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage. Which means that any witnesses would only have been seeing them from 60 feet away. Who was it appeared in the explosion? Some 18 meters above the ground. but spectators. Ah! The body double inside, which was...
Take that!
Well... Oh.
Objection!
That does. I'm gonna try one more thing now. And we'll maybe... I don't think we can name.
Take that!
Oh yeah, there's... We know the fact that Mr. Osmond was in the bird cage that was situated inside the kinetic machine in the stage. And therefore, he couldn't have been inside the second bird cage. Instead, that contained something else. What's been described as a body double, which was what fell from the sky that crashed into the Crystal Tower. Yes, Council, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events. And that body double inside this birdcage was, in fact... It's alright, Mr. Naruto. You're ready for this. Steel yourself and come up with it. Thank you, Mr. Sano. You need that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was... And... When was that there? As unbelievable as it seems, that thing there.
Objection!
Open your eyes and look into mine, my Japanese friend. Now tell me, what are you playing at? Is that from Nine Minosuke? Alright, this is time to shoot your Japanese spear. As Corporal Serve, this is the waxwork model. A model, in fact, of the infamous London murder from 10 years ago to Professor.
Objection!
You started by indicating the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice in this crime, and now you move to indicate waxwork. Yes, that's about the size of it. Why? And why this waxwork? Looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible jurisdiction can you give? You want to know why? Ask Mr. Dever. What? Just days before Professor Haberens performed his public demonstration, Mr. Dever adopted this model from Madame Tussauds. Did you just say adopted? On 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum. And the timing... Is this true? Mr. Dever? At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Dever would have stolen the waxwork, then just give it back again. But now, the reason is clear. He took it so he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Osmond.
Objection!
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witness fabricated this fast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist? That he did so in conclusion with the country's finest coroner on the public stage in front of a vast audience. And that to affect the deception, he used a waxwork model that had that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe that this far-fetched tale? What do you decide?
Objection.
Wait! Yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds impossible. Hold on! I need to speak, if you please. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement. No! Very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings for the court to hear now.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Kill me.
Lovely. So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus. Knew that was going to happen. We shall get through this, Mr. Haro, as we always do, and uncover some new truths along the way. I'm quite sure. Yes, I agree. I'm gonna have to appear to the jurors as usual and see if I can persuade them to change their minds. The defense will now embark on something. The judge just knows this by now. Yeah, we're just doing this. Don't need the request anymore. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman? You are, my lord? Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear. On grounds on which of you have decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime of which he is charged. Judicial findings. It's jurors contending. I know that woman for years. She'd never been accomplished to do anything. It's utter nonsense to think that those would ever be confiding with one another. Oh dear, this is most troubling. But surely the waxwork the man and so has nothing to do with the coroner, is it? I've had my own problems with members of the police, but I do not trust them much. I see no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture. Accusing someone with right evidence? He's not a proper dog, is he? I don't have it. Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinions. Given that the face is obscured and it's built in no way resembling that of the victim, I can only applaud my learned friends to suggesting that is Tamari at suggesting it is Mr. Asmon's body double. Yes, the audience is deafening, the applause is deafening, and yes, I know it seems extraordinary, but that's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling that it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realized. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't explain why at the moment. I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used. Why it had to be this model. Really? Reason why nothing else would do, you mean? Yes, I'm convinced. It's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim. Well, in that case, that's the case, we must prevent this trap from ending prematurely at all costs. Yes, agreed. Have to find a way out of this. If you're ready, Kunto, you may proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Jury examination. Advance rebuttal. Oh. It's also weird that we have the sixth juror as the first statement this time around.
Hold it!
The order of things seems to change around here for some reason. I'm a copper, lad. It's a copper's discretion to bend the rules sometimes. When needs must. What's wrong with that? Where do I start? I've been working at the yard for 40 odd years. That's even more than I thought. We've only had a metropolitan police service in town for 70 years, you know. Of course, times have changed. The public doesn't trust coppers back when I started. It was rough. We had to fight crime, and we had to fight to win the public trust as well. And when we did, the forensic science was in its infancy true, even more than it is now, and she spearheaded the revolution. Dr. Sif, you mean? That's right. About 10 years ago now, it was, when I was still a youngish bobby on the beat. That's when she started making a name for herself as a top-class coroner. Now look at her. Head the forensic investigation team, and a woman no less. Well, you won't hear me complaining. It's what we all dreamed of back then, I tell ya. Tell me about holding a gun here. We were all like to uphold justice, lad. Full of fim, we were. Full of fim. That comes across loud and clear.
Hold it!
But we've only started to uncover the case. We've only just started to understand the case. What are you reading there, sir? The man behind those mirrors on Solar Pylon Street was caught into this blood. That's real policing for you. That's really not relevant to the case, is it? You're wrong there. Because it was Dr. Sif in charge of examining the bodies. There was evidence arising from her work that led to the arrest of the scoundrel responsible. Oh. That's right, oh. That woman is the forefront of this country's fight against crime. The idea that she's somewhat involved in this murky business is load of otosh. It's a load of otosh. I've always thought to me the press is jurors, not the other way around.
Hold it!
Okay. What would you assume then? Why would you assume that then? Why, simply because that unseemly swindler has no relation with the woman, does he? True, as it stands, we do not know any connection. Gosh, it would be delightfully romantic if they were somehow have a mutual interest in the Waxford. Romantic? A woman of society such as myself views everything in terms of relationship, you know. Well, you learn something new every day. Even if you don't want to. One might wonder the possible relationship between the defendant and this corner woman. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome prosecutor over there. Just there. This woman may be more astute than I've been given her credit for. Now, if that's the woman's stance, then perhaps establishing some connection between the waxwork and Dr. C would be enough. Yes, I agree. As soon as we even have a whiff of connection, she'd be the first to know.
Hold it!
What sort of problems? Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the street. Right, I see. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audience. So we perform grip magics in parks, on streets, corners, and the likes. Police use any excuse to make our lives difficult.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Ottermahole? Who do you call in the mass murderer? Sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him. I don't look like anything like the man. You want me to lock up, Sonny? Thanks, Mr. Sholmes. Perhaps we could move on. I was wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what your number 3 just said. And clearly you do. Back in my day, back in the good old days, it wasn't like this. What was it like, sir? We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did. And by Jove, we earned it. People respect us back then. Respected you? No one would have called a coroner into questioning in them days. A coroner's report was a hallmark of investigation done right. Especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it.
Hold it!
Huh. She was the best of the best, and ample enforces that. Hold it. Just a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens? Oh, sorry. Got a bit carried away there. That name popped up recently too, didn't it? Yeah. It's there. The condemned prisoner. Stevens is Dr. Smith's maiden name. Her maiden name? That was before she was married. Of course, yes. Silly me. It's Stevens now, isn't it? Stevens. Wait. Huh? Sure, I've seen the name somewhere recently. Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing, not like now. Sorry to interrupt, sir. Did you think you could change your statement to include that name? Well, yes. I don't see why not.
Hold it!
She was legendary, was she? Oh, yeah, right. She probably went with that one again. What did you say? Ah! That woman is still the best coroner in the land. Head the forensic investigation team. Legendary? What's your description, sir? Not mine. Rubbish! That word never passed my lips. I'd never describe anyone that way, ever. Not if they were still in the game. I think the point you were trying to make is that Dr. Smith was an extremely talented coroner. Would that be fair? It would! If it weren't for the fact that you're trying to drag that legendary woman's reputation through the mud. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that legendary. And at least me better, she was Courtney Stevens back when I knew her. Of course, a legendary coroner even then.
Hold it!
You claim the whole instantaneous demonstration was a trick. That I did. There's more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there? Sorry? I grant you, given that this cage appears from amidst an explosion, there have been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim. I'm not sure exactly how criminals are governed by decency. The point is, if you're going to make a claim about the waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's not just not science. I'm supposed to expect nothing less from a logical argument from a fellow royal society. But that perhaps means his mind can be changed if he minds ever sense suitable evidence. Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside the birdcage. Can I produce that or not? I think I can. Yeah, I think I do. Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir. Oh? I must warn you, I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. And given your jet black uniform, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidity here. You don't trust anyone in black. Look at the mirror. Looking in the mirror must be very trying. I do have some evidence that proves the Waxford has been inside the birdcage, namely...
Take that!
What's that? A piece of glass? It was usually thick for glass. Yes, it's a piece of broken glass to be found inside the jacket of the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass though. It's very thick. Clearly made for extra strength. Much like a special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower. Holy smokes! Exactly! The centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, where the very instant we are talking about took place. The day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through the window of that special glass. From whence the small piece originated. Is that it? Precisely. So, what do you say? Now that clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you. Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, and the reason is sound, just for the sake color shouldn't come into it. And that what you show me here? Yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter. In that case, juror number 4, you will amend your statement 9, please. The presence of that piece of glass leaves me little doubt that the waxwork was indeed inside the birdcage. Thank you for reconsidering your position, sir. Your words are misplaced, boy. My opinion is governed by logic and science and nothing else. Yes, science is where you should direct your words of gratitude. Ah. What's the matter with you? Do you get to say some words of thanks to the mother of all academic subjects? What is it about scientists? Honestly. I've got to ask, why have you brought that corn to the court with you? Colonel Cobb? You've been growing back on the farm. Frick them up from out of town. He's a proper nibble, is he? Yes. Yes, the nibbling seems to be taking quite a while. Maybe you could wait till after the show? Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. You need colonels at times of this, like these. Whenever I'm submitted to bake, some bake to the side, the colonel always points me in the right direction. See? Like, you're talking about your corn of corn? Your cup of corn? Even though get the even though not getting out. Even though get the bubble. Even though never not get the out. Even though get the bubble. It will not get the out. Nobody will get the bubble. It will not get the out. Perhaps it's again the fortune telling with flower petals like people do back home. Professor Herpin's fate is decided by a cup of corn. Could you not at least wait until you've had more time to find the truth before deciding on the defendant's guilt? Ooh, I know about that. My tongue's awfully full already. Amazing. It seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork moth professor was in that birdcage. On the other hand, it explains a lot. There's really a reason why that particular waxwork was used as Mr. Osmond's double. We'll see everything we can to make the jurors understand it. The truth is, I'm sure that the key to this is, but it's the most puzzling part of it too. In that case, you see what additional information you glean by whilst trying to change the juror's mind. You can read a book whilst eating a rice cracker, Mr. Haruto. I'm sure you can do this. Right, yes. Oh. Well, there is one thing I can work with.
Objection!
No, it's not!
Hold it!
Okay. Oh, maybe there's changes. Oh, I think her chits can change.
Hold it!
Wait. I'm probably on the wrong path.
Objection!
It was the other way around. These statements clearly contradict each other. You're gracious! Does whose statement refer to, Council? If you could put down your corner for a moment, juror number 5. Oh, you mean me? You pointed out that it's wrong to make accusations. Yeah, accusations with evidence. The accusations that the Waxburg model was inside the second birdcage in the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrates the jury standing beside you. Oh, is that right? Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument? I don't understand much beside Colonel Cobb, to be honest. Of course you don't. If I could interject here, please do, sir. None of this is yours about the Waxford has been backed up by some solid evidence. It would be wrong with me, as a man of sense, not to pursue the matter further. Oh, well, me too then. Sorry? If the range gentleman says he's right, then he must be. See, I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Cobb or anyone who's got stuff in between the ears. Success! You can call it that. Oh, Gordy's got some evidence. That's the whole corner Cobb corner. Lovely job. The possibilities of salvation reasonably logically. It warrants further research. Okay.
Objection!
And it was those two, okay. These seems clearly contradict each other. Gracious! Which two seems rude, I can't tell. So, juror number 2. Oh gosh, me? What can I do for you? I assume you've heard what juror number 6 said in the statement. You brought to light that the man's name of the coroner, Dr. Seif, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before. Well, naturally, as home society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. Oh golly, I'm afraid I fail to see what you mean. Like it says, my name is Stevens. Though for that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the Waxford of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it. Goodness, evidence you say? how utterly enthralling. And so, the court cannot overlook that last remark. I must hope there is sustain your claim. Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. This evidence clearly links Dr. Steve to the mass murderer known as the Professor.
Take that!
I have here a certain auto spy report from 10 years ago. 10 years ago auto spy report? What relevance does it have here? It is, of course, from the auto spy at the person portrayed in the waxwork. The killer known as the Professor. The Professor? That man was a capital offender, so... That's right. That is a certification of death that was drawn up after the conflict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report is given few details. What's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens. Hi, Courtney Stevens? Strike a light! It appears that the Professor's auto spy was conducted by Dr. Steve 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Deborah very deliberately stole the waxwork of the Professor from Madame Suspel. A waxwork that doesn't, in fact, resemble the victim, Mr. Osmond, at all. And do you suppose there's an unsavory relationship between those events? Absolutely, I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the Professor's case is at the heart of a link of that we've yet to uncover between Dr. Courtney Smith and Dr. Erich Dever. Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is almost extraordinary. Extraordinary. We must surely now oblige to explore this further. It's free. Quite right. We cannot let this trial come to an end now. Whilst there is a cloud of suspicious hanging over the yard's best corner. It isn't like that in my days, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end. No, Scarside, it's 4-2 to us. Thank you, Counsel. That will do. As a result of the summary examination, the jurors over all leanings has changed. 2 jurors now called guilty against 4 who call not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach a consensus at this time. The trial must continue. We did it! Oh, well done, Mr. Naruto. Another wonderful victory. As much as I want to continue, we'll actually wrap this up here instead of actually getting to the next testimony and stuff. So I think that would be a good little spot. Finishing off the judicial summation examination. And with that, I'll wrap things up here. Thanks for tuning in. Hope it's a good day. Hope it's a good week. Back on this Monday. We'll see where we go from there. We might have this trial finished. We might not. We'll just have to wait and see. But until then, I'll see you all next time. Bye.